I'm just fucking with you guys. We're not doing that again. How is everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's doing well. Pro tip, chat. When Sean does these countdowns, you can set it to 2 times and remove about 10 seconds of lag. There you go. Not a bad idea. But I use that because if I just start right away, people are like, oh, I missed it. Or they're like, everybody's like, oh, worried about something's out of lag. So I try to do that to give everybody a chance to get caught up or whatever. Everybody seems to like it better when I do it that way. Tim the Tool is a new fan. Thank you, Timmy. I think your lawsuit's still not too good, buddy. But thank you for being here, Tim. All right, guys. So yes, welcome. It is Wednesday. And yes, I am. Why is that out of the way? My name is Sean, also potentially criminal. I am an attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area. And we try to focus on criminal defense things. And tonight, it is the never-ending saga of Alec Baldwin. And yes, Alec Baldwin is still dealing with this case, believe it or not. And we remember back in July, the judge dismissed his case with prejudice in the middle of trial because Kari Morrissey, the prosecutor, had not just once, not twice, but at this point, over 3 times screwed with discovery and the evidence handling that was going on. Multiple reports were not provided to the defense. There were issues with the firearm being destroyed in damage testing. But then finally, just, what broke the camel's back, the straw broke the camel's back, was all the nonsense with the ammunition Troy Teskey brought in at the Hannah Reid trial that Kari just ignored and said, well, I don't think it's important. Don't lick my glasses. That's a step to Baldoism. Funny. You're a funny guy. Anyway. Ooh, Tampa's going to get a category 4. Ooh, that's not good. And Guy Vermecta says, simping for Alec Baldwin's weird. Yeah, but we're not really simping for him. It's, a guy who was mistreated by the system is scoring points. So, hey, you should be cheering for him regardless of who it is. Because the state's doing him wrong. Regardless of all that chat, the case was dismissed with prejudice. Alec Baldwin was a free man. And this is when Kari did her massive cope. And we talked about it previously. This is with her 270 page, almost 400 pages worth of 400 pages worth of exhibits when she put it all together. And you guys remember, it was just absolutely sad to watch. We'll bring this up here because I know you guys want to see it. This is, if you guys don't remember what's covering it, this is the motion to reconsider that Kari filed. It was over 50 pages long. And she already had an issue because it's only 10-page maximums. And she did this in 50 pages and just kept going and going and going. Just rehashing all of her arguments from before, trying to reintroduce and re-argue everything that had been stated. And in addition to this, guys, this is where Kari Morrissey said, in addition to all of this, I demand to know when Alec Baldwin's team knew about the ammunition and when they brought it up. If you guys remember, that was one of the things she wanted to do, was to demand and know when that stuff happened. And guys, here's exhibits 1 through 4, a total of 110 pages. Yeah, we ain't doing that, Kari. And then you have this one here, 279 pages of exhibits. And this is basically her just redumping all this garbage back into the hearing. All the stuff that came out in court. All the things she wants to throw in. Throwing in transcripts, all kinds of things. Just everywhere. And she couldn't accept it. She couldn't accept she lost. And then the court denied. And remember this, guys. This was the court just blowing, BTFOing Kari Morrissey, saying, nope, we're denying everything. So the court ruled on the filings without hearing. Okay, it's 52 pages plus 387 pages, chat. Nearly 440 pages. And she was limited to 10 pages unless she sought leave of the court. And here was, remember, we talked about this part, chat. This is the court's way of telling Kari, this is a way of her telling Kari, given the procedural posture of the case, the court must enforce the local rule to regulate the court's docket and promote judicial efficiency. It's over. It's like, this case is over. I don't need to waste time on this, Kari. You're wasting my time. You're wasting my time, Kari. All you're doing is causing me fucking problems. And they point out here in the court, they cite something here. They talk about sanctions may be appropriate for any future violations. And they point out a winning argument can't fit within the limitations of the rule. And the court finds that this is not well taken and should be denied. So all that work Kari did, those 400 some pages, just poofed out of thin air. We covered that. I just wanted to retouch on that so you guys remember where we've been and where we're coming from, because there is a lot to get through here. There's a lot to get through. Alec Baldwin's team did respond. Now, Alec Baldwin's team did get a chance to respond. Now, before they got a chance to respond, Kari Morrissey filed an amended motion. And you know, chat, she just can't let it go. Judge said, no, I'm not reading it. Kari's like, well, how about this one? How about this one, chat? We're going to read this one. She says their amended motion to reconsider dismissal with prejudice. Now, this is, once again, she's providing all the issues here. And she says, finally, this is the one thing. This is the massive part of this. I still think it's so egregious. The state requests the court to order defense counsel to provide a description and all documents related to when and how they learned of the test key ammunition. Remember, she is trying to demand that Alec Baldwin and his attorneys provide information about when they learned about evidence that she had not disclosed. You know, it's your job to disclose it, Kari, and you're sitting there crying, saying, well, it's their fault. No. Well, no, you don't get it. You don't get it. As I talked about before, there's work product, trial strategy, all kinds of things you are not entitled to. And remember, it's your job to provide that evidence. It's your job to provide it, Kari. It's not their job to tell you about it. Now, if you guys notice here, she wrote this one. This one's 32 pages, not 52. So A little bit smaller. She's trying. But it's still not going to be enough. She did then file. She also filed the same day. Once again, chat, when I've mentioned this before, if you know you're going to need it, file it a different day. At least you're giving the appearance that you give a shit about the rules. So, so let me see here. What this is? Why did that go down? Why did that go down here? I'm not sure. So it says, comes out of state of New Mexico by Special Prosecutor Kari Morrissey, who respectfully submits this motion to reconsider the denial of motion to exceed page limits. And see, here's the problem. Once you start like having to like ask for reconsiderations, listen to how stupid this sounds. Listen to how long this is getting. This is getting so clunky. And no, J-Rock, she did not get leave first. Like I said, always try to get leave. Always try to get leave before you file. And she said on August 30th, the state filed a motion to reconsider dismissal that was 52 pages in length. Okay. The court has routinely granted motions for page extensions throughout the pendency of the cases against Mr. Baldwin and Miss Gutierrez. She's saying, well, Judge, you let us do it all the time. And then this is where she gets going on here. On March 20th, the court granted Baldwin's motion to exceed page limits, filed on March 14th, and the defendant filed a 52-page motion to dismiss. You okay? On April 4th, the court granted the state's motion for page extension, filed the same day, allowing a 32-page response to Baldwin's 52-page motion. Likewise, on April 22nd, the court granted Baldwin's motion to exceed page limits to allow him to file a 25-page reply to the state's response, giving Baldwin a total of 77 pages to argue his motion to dismiss. Okay? Now remember, this is all pre-trial. You guys remember what the court said? Given the posture of the case, it's already over. So yes, there is a big difference. It's pre-trial. We're trying to get to the root of things. There's so many issues we have to cut down. We can't condense it anymore. And as we looked at the writings from Alec Baldwin's team, they are dense. They are packed. There's not a lot of fluff. So they used all those pages. On May 8th, the court granted Baldwin's motion for page extensions, filed on May 6th, allowing him to file a 28-page and 16-page motions, and also granted the state's page extension to file its response. The court also granted Baldwin's June 5th motion for page extensions for his reply briefs, giving Baldwin a total of 4735 pages to develop his record and address all issues germane to his motions. I don't know. I get that, but Kari, you're like we're 2 months past the dismissal. Like, how are you not already struck out with your appellate issues? Because issues germane to his motions of developing the record, that's talking about appeal. Well, we're past that point. I can't imagine you could appeal now. On June 20th, the court finally denied Baldwin's last attempt to file a voluminous motion. Baldwin found an end run around the court's denial by splitting his motion into 2 separate motions. And sometimes, hey, that's a way to... There's... Alec Baldwin's attorneys figured out a way to gamify the system. Hey, it works. It works. It works. Similarly, in the Gutierrez case, the court granted the defendant's motion for page extensions on May 17th and July 16th. Oddly, the court failed to act on the state's motion for page extension, providing a Word and PDF formats to the court on August 1st, 2024. Oh, Judge, you didn't notice us. Whoa. The state is entitled to make a full record regarding the court's decision to dismiss the case against Alec Baldwin. The court's final dismissal order is 22 pages in length, and the state requests that be permitted to file a 22-page motion to reconsider so that all of the pertinent factual legal issues can be developed. Well, I mean, how long is this bad boy here? We've got how many pages? Got 32 pages length. What do we got here? And Kari got it done in 11. Sorry, Kari, that's not 10. And she immediately goes back into her spurgy exhibits. So, didn't work for you, Kari. Today, the state filed a 10-page amended motion for reconsideration. It's actually 11, Kari. The limitation of the 10 pages result in the state being unable to fully develop the legal arguments related to State v. Martinez. And she mentions a couple of the cases here that she was trying to argue. And generally, the court's obligation under the law to consider lesser sanctions in more detail. Now, Kari's argument was, don't dismiss the case, just punish us. Well, the court did punish you. Moreover, the state was prevented from fully developing the facts relevant to the source of the live rounds on the set of Rust and the conduct of Mr. Baldwin as it relates to State's Exhibits 6, 7, 8, and 12. And the state respectfully requests the court permit the state to file a 22-page motion. So it's the same number of pages as the court's final order, and that is the subject of the motion. Why do you need 22? You're kind of an idiot. I don't know what you think you could say in 22 pages, Kari. I don't. It's very weird for me that you would make these arguments like that. Now, in response to all of this, Alec Baldwin takes the stage. And oh boy, this is good, chat. This is going to be good. Now, the first thing they filed, and we'll actually cover this first. This is their exhibits. It's only 29 pages. It's combined exhibits A through E. So what are these exhibits here? Well, this is the affidavit of Erlinda Johnson. And we've already talked about this. But if you guys haven't seen it, Erlinda Johnson is the other attorney that was working with Kari Morrissey. And she filed an affidavit as this all crashed and burned. You know, she talks about being appointed to work with Kari as a special prosecutor on this case. But then she also talks about everything that fell apart. You know, so I was appointed to work as a special prosecutor. You know, Kari did not tell me the third Hague report existed prior to the first Hague report. Kari did not tell me about it until May. Had I known about these reports, I would have disclosed them to defense counsel. You know, we talk about all the things Kari did there, including there was a request. Defense counsel emailed me asking me to review a production by the district attorney's office to defense pursuant to the Inspection of Records Act for discoverable material. Kari Morrissey suggested to me that I ignore the discovery request from defense counsel. Ignoring a discovery request. She told Kari I would not ignore the defense counsel's email, as I have my own ethical obligations to ensure the proper discovery was disclosed. I mean, guys, this is a little wild that Kari's doing all this stuff. You know, she then has two private investigators who assist me in reviewing the nearly 5,000 pages of the IPRA production for the purpose of unredacting everything to which the defense was entitled. She conducted a review of the material and compared it to the unredacted version. She uncovered additional items to disclose to the defense, which amounted to thousands of pages of documents. Kari instructed me not to talk to defense counsel over the phone, which on its own is not sus. because sometimes you deal with people only in email. So the trial began July 9th. I resigned. I resigned during trial because I learned of undisclosed evidence during trial and felt that my ethical obligations called for me to withdraw. Um, I did not resign from the case because I did not want a public hearing. And during the lunch hour on the 12th, I advocated for Kari to dismiss the case against Baldwin. Pretty cool. She's been fighting that good fight the whole time, chat. It says, during the break in the morning and the lunch hour, after conducting legal research and evaluating what I learned that day about what had transpired at the Tuskegee ammunition and not been disclosed, I believe the right thing for the state to do is dismiss the case on its own motion, but Kari disagreed. Yes. Kari would rather look like an idiot in front of the entire country than stick around. Now, the other exhibits they're offering here are just transcripts that have been provided. All these are transcripts, guys. Just a couple of emails. And a lot of emails involving Marissa Popple, the CSI lady who was trying to be all cute and funny. Well, things did not work out for her. If only more prosecutors had a spine and ethics, yes, they really do need it. They really do need it. I guess burlesque Erlinda Johnson's integrity, yes. Tim says she's a defense lawyer and she did all this. Yes. It's the weird part. A very weird part. MLS David, how you doing? Making law simple. Woo, how did you get that? Did you change your name or something? Kale ain't exactly, ain't nobody got time for one speed. So here you go. Here is Alec Baldwin's response back. I mean, this is a clapback. So it's State of New Mexico versus Alexander Ray Baldwin, the third. Luke Nankis and then Alex Spiro. If you guys remember these two were the main guys doing the trial. Luke Nankis was the bald guy, and Alex Spiro was lead counsel for Alec Baldwin's case, and they came out swinging. So they have an introduction and argument, and then under the argument, the court should strike the state's defective motion. The state's motion for reconsideration should be denied. And yeah, they just bring it up. The state's misconduct was egregious. Case law supports dismissal. And notice what they did. 10 pages. It's like they're professionals. It's funny how that works. And look, they cite all these cases in a 10-page document. That's impressive. And they cite our favorite, Brady v. Maryland. Old reliable. So here we go. The introduction. The state waited until hours before the deadline to file a motion for reconsideration that exceeded the court's page limit by 42 pages. When the state's defective motion was rejected, it waited a week to file an amended motion, while at the same time requesting leave to file a third version of the motion. To this day, the state still hasn't filed a compliant motion. The state's motion should therefore be stricken as non-compliant and untimely. Yeah. Oh, boy. You already know where this is going with Luke and Alec. They're already coming after him. I mean, look at this. We have justified alignment already. This is like, life is good, Chad. Life is good. And the alternative of the motion should be denied on the merits. The court provided a detailed summary of the state's egregious misconduct and a thorough analysis of the relevant factors under the case law. Based on its comprehensive analysis, the court properly exercised its inherent power and broad discretionary authority by dismissing the case with prejudice. No basis exists to reconsider the court's decision. But here comes Kari Morrissey. You can hear him saying this in his voice. But no, here comes Kari Morrissey. She thinks she knows better. After she repeatedly violated the state's disclosure obligations, buried evidence, lied about it at trial, and then lied about her reasons for lying about it, which is a funny thing. Oh. Kari has the audacity to ask the court to order Baldwin to provide a description and all documents related to when and how they learned of evidence that the state suppressed. Yes, as I said, demanding the state hand over evidence of when you discovered the state's wrongdoing is not how that works. It is difficult to imagine a more backwards or conceited attempt to blame the victim of the state's own willful and deliberate misconduct. Ooh, damn. Not only has the state failed to present any new information to warrant reconsideration, but the new information that has emerged since trial only underscores the strength and necessity of the court's judgment. Specifically, an affidavit by Erlinda Johnson, who, contrary to Morrissey's lies, resigned because of the state's misconduct, demonstrates that Morrissey continues to distort the truth. The court should ensure the integrity of the judicial system and the efficient administration of justice by striking the United States motions. I mean, they are coming out hard here, chat. They're coming out swinging, just woof. Hella, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well, guys. Hella over at Excited Utterance, the home of hearsay for days, every Sunday at 4 p.m. But God, they are coming after Kari here. The court should strike the state's defective motion. The state's motion cannot exceed 10 pages without the leave of court, and the motion was required to be filed within 30 days after the judgment entry. Here, the state waited until hours before the deadline of August 30th to file a motion to reconsider dismissal with prejudice. At 52 pages, however, the motion exceeds the court's page limit by 42 pages. The state knew well in advance of August 30th that it planned to file a massively overlength motion, yet it inexplicably waited until the day of filing to request an extension. Yeah. If you know you're going to need it, get it ahead of time. It's always easier. You're also always more likely to get it, especially when you need to file. I'm going to blow out this thing by like 500 pages. Tell the court ahead of time. They will work with you. Okay, they will work with you. On September 5th, the state filed a motion to reconsider the court's denial that seeks to leave to file a 22-page motion. At the same time, nearly a week after the deadline to seek reconsideration, the state filed an amended motion to reconsider dismissal with prejudice. The amended motion is 11 pages long, also beyond the page limit. This court has not ruled on these motions. After the court denied leave to file the state's non-compliant motion, the state waited an entire week to file its amended motion. The state cannot circumvent the deadline by filing a grossly non-compliant motion on the due date, then filing a second, still non-compliant motion nearly a week later. Finally, the court should award Baldwin's attorney's fees for having to respond to the state's defective motion as a sanction against Morrissey for her continued abuse of the judicial process. And I think that's fair. You're making Alec Baldwin spend money to deal with this fucking nonsense. Well, yeah, then it should be covered. And they say the state's motion for reconsideration should be denied. They point out while the motion of reconsideration is appropriate where the court has misapprehended the facts, a position, or controlling law, it's not an appropriate vehicle to revisit issues already addressed or advance arguments that could have been raised in prior briefings, which is what the prosecutor's attempting to do here. They point out the state doesn't even attempt to present new evidence or information in support of its motion, and even if it did, the court may properly refuse to consider it. Nor does the state cite any new controlling authority to support its attacks on the court's ruling. Instead, the new information to emerge since the trial underscores the strength and necessity of the court's decision. See Exhibit A. The state's motion for reconsideration should be denied. Well, let's see here. What is Exhibit A on this for them? Oh, they had Exhibit A in the thingy. Okay, well, we're not going back to read it. Now, they put out the state's misconduct was egregious, and they said the state withheld information from virtually the beginning of the case all the way through the trial. It culpably made late disclosures of multiple experts related to the firearm and thousands of files, including over 1,500 pages of documents and dozens of gigabytes worth of data. And that includes lapel pins, audio recordings of the interviews of key witnesses. I mean, they want everything. And they had to get it all. And you also guys see the way this gets long here. Expedited motion for relief for states Brady and state law disclosure violations related to the firearm. Like, at some point, you need to stop. You're just not helping yourself at this point. Like, it's just not good. It's just not good. I was gonna say it's kind of like you walk into. It's like that guy who went into the Bears' hibernation pit. It's like you better bring something good so you can get out of there alive. And these are just awful motions here. Either way, they point out it waited until the eve of trial to disclose over 1,100 pages of discoverable documents that Kari Morrissey refused to provide. Which, once again, that is interesting stuff. What is happening there? And she said, and they say the list goes on and on. In short, the state continually made late disclosures to the defendant through pretrial litigation and even in the days immediately preceding the jury trial beginning August 9th, 2024. And yeah, this is the problem here. Once again, guys, it wasn't just the bullets. It was every other thing plus the bullets. Excuse me. And they say here, yet the state repeatedly certified it met its disclosure obligations. Yeah, well, that is a big problem for Kari. And they talk about here that there are motions to compel disclosure and impose sanctions under Rule 5501, saying we have the right to demand discovery. And then the state responding to the expedited motions for relief for the Brady and state law disclosure violations related to non-firearm discovery. The state conducted a complete audit of its discovery and disclosure files as soon as it was aware that potential problems existed and has cured any discovery disclosure issues. Yeah, I'm sure they cured him because it seems like they cured him. Maybe she didn't know what the hell she was saying because that's the only thing I could think of right now. So the state's pattern of misconduct and misrepresentations continued at trial. On July 11th, crime scene tech Popple, kind of that girl with the, 6.5 feet tall, the weird haircut. Oh, hold on here. It does kind of look like Detective Pomplin a little bit, but wrong case, chat. Anyways, CST Popple falsely testified she had logged all the evidence she collected in this case, and that by logging it made it available for the defense so they could have visibility into what she collected. Well, we know she didn't do that because she filed it all under a new case heading, so nobody would ever find it. And they said, in fact, despite Baldwin's specific request to see the ballistics, all rounds, casings, deconstructed rounds, etc., Popple, along with other Santa Fe sheriff's agents, special prosecutors, intentionally and deliberately withheld this evidence by placing it and other related evidence under a non-Rust investigation case number. If you guys don't remember, that was the thing we talked about where it's a very, this is burying it in a separate file. It would never have been found. In an attempt to explain why the Teskey supplied ammunition was buried under a different case number, Popple testified the ammunition did not match the live ammunition found on the set of Rust. But this too. Love how he says it's italicized. But this too, good saw, was false. By the time Special Prosecutor Morrissey took the stand as a witness in her own prosecution, the state had already admitted. Oh, why is this all? The state had already admitted burying the Teskey supplied ammunition and lying about it in front of the jury. Yeah. Throughout Morrissey's testimony, the lies continued. For example, Morrissey's statements that she had never ever seen the Teskey supplied ammunition and didn't realize it was under the same case number was contradicted by Corporal Hancock, who testified the agents of the special prosecutor decided to separately file this evidence apart from the evidence in the Rust case because it's all related. It also defies belief that Morrissey wouldn't have asked what type of ammunition Teskey delivered. Now, that's fair. I think she would have asked Teskey, what kind of guns are you bringing? So the intentional misconduct and fabrications that emerge at trial are consistent with Morrissey's pattern of, this is just... She didn't bother looking. She just compartmentalized it and forgot about it. It's stunning how they do this. It is truly stunning how she does that. So, and they keep going, though. The intentional misconduct and fabrications that emerge at trial are consistent with Morrissey's pattern of withholding evidence and lying about it from virtually the moment she took over this case. Yeah, this is not a good look for... It's not a good look for, the Forest Service guys looking to put out wildfires. But we're going to keep going here. Her conduct has continued even after dismissal. For example, contrary to latest claims, she never refused to provide unredacted copies of documents that Baldwin had obtained through an IPRA request. Baldwin has learned that Morrissey told Erlinda Johnson to ignore Baldwin's request to view the documents for discoverable material. It's this is just Baldwin's learned that Morrissey told Erlinda Johnson to ignore Baldwin's request to review the documents for discoverable material. Johnson refused to ignore Baldwin's request, citing her ethical obligations to ensure the proper discovery was disclosed. Now, a lot of circles, that's big because that's a breaking point. So, yeah, this is just absolute horseshit here. This ultimately led to the production of 1,100 pages of documents in the Eva trial. Johnson also states that Morrissey's testimony about why Johnson resigned, that she didn't agree with the decision to have the hearing, is another lie. I mean, they're going after everybody for everything at this point. So just be careful out there. This thing is getting crazy. They say Johnson withdrew because she learned of the undisclosed evidence during trial and felt her ethical obligations called for her to withdraw. Yeah, I think they would have. They would have. So case law supports dismissal. Given the government's misconduct, the court concluded that dismissal with prejudice is appropriate. The court reached its conclusion by properly exercising its broad statutory authority, which they all have, and conducting a thorough analysis of the relevant factors under the case law. Once again, guys, we see our old friend Brady v. Maryland popping his head up. There's no basis to reconsider the court's analysis. And they say, first, as the court recognized, the state violated Baldwin's rights under numerous rules, state and federal. And I'm just going to say, this is, it's just mind-boggling how much they've gotten away with. It does. It's truly, it's hard to explain. It is hard to explain. I just don't understand how they can keep doing this with a straight face. And they say, despite admitting it may have suppressed the ammunition from the defendant, the state argues that no Brady violation occurred because the evidence is not favorable to the defendant and is not material to his defense. And they say that's wrong. And it is. It's just, that is wrong. This is, Spirit was addressing this the way it needs to be addressed. That is wrong. As explained in Baldwin's motion to dismiss, proving the state's theory that Baldwin should have known of the risk of live ammunition being brought and sold on set will require the state to establish a link between Baldwin and the source of the live ammo. And they're right, because it's not just the ammo that day, it's how did that ammo get there, period. And also notice they talk about Brady and Giglio here. Two very important cases when it comes to this issue. The state aimed to prove this theory by pointing to evidence that the fatal round was brought to set by Gutierrez Reed, and arguing Baldwin should have seen her relative youth and experience and incompetence as a red flag. And they say, notwithstanding the state's clear strategy, the state now falsely claims that it never intended And now we're starting to get to it's winding down here, chat. They said, notwithstanding the state's clear strategy, the state now falsely claims that it never intended to establish a link between Baldwin and the source of the live ammunition, and that Baldwin didn't need to know that there were live rounds on the set for state to approve its case against him. But that is not the legal standard for disclosing exculpatory evidence. The fact the government may also have advanced other theories of guilt can be. I mean, that's the thing here, because people don't forget. People have long memories. So whether you're doing this as part of some thing on the internet or you're running a business, people have long memories. And so they're pointing out the government also have abandoned their other stories full of guilt, did not absolve it of this. And they're talking about that it did not absolve it of an obligation to get these guys to turn over their evidence that exculpated Baldwin on one of its theories, because it doesn't work that way. Because that would involve tying the source of live ammunition to Hannah Reed and accusing Baldwin of recklessly relying on her as armorer. They said, moreover, by acknowledging that there is evidence that Baldwin's actions may not have been the only significant cause of Hutchins' death, the state effectively concedes that any attempt or any evidence that attenuates Baldwin from the source of live ammunition is both material and favorable to Baldwin's defense. Yes, as people were saying. While we're at it here, hold on, guys. Clyde! Oh, he was right there, but he walked away. And they put out, in addition, and guys, this just reads it's so jam-packed. It feels like we're reading 100 pages here. They say, in addition, as the court observed, Baldwin could have used the suppression ammunition as impeachment against multiple witnesses. Oh, hi, Bubby. Come here. Come here.
Where are you going?
Yeah, I know. He just...
Stinker butt.
Yeah, I know. In addition, as the court observed, Baldwin could have used the suppressed ammunition as impeachment material. And that's one of the other parts of Brady, guys. Remember, it doesn't have to be exculpatory, but it can be impeachment material. That's always just as important. The argument that the rounds do not serve to impeach anyone other than CST Popple is both false. The evidence also impeaches Hancock, the lead detective. And it might get other people involved. We don't know. But yes, those things can be used to impeach. And they're pointing out it's false. And also incredible coming from a prosecutor whose own statements are impeached by that evidence. It is also irrelevant since the ammunition itself is not the only evidence that was suppressed. And they say, nor do any of the state's arguments absolve Morrissey of her admitted failure to comply with New Mexico rules, the repeated violation of which is sufficient to warrant dismissal even without a Brady violation. And that's the other thing, chat. Prosecutorial misconduct doesn't have to be Brady and Giglio violations. If they just do really obnoxious and dumb shit, you could say, Your Honor, let's get out of here. This is too much. Let's see here. Take a second here. All right, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. um, they talk about to create disclosure obligations beyond those required by the due process clause. And you have ongoing disclosure obligations. And they point out Brady does not require showing culpability. It doesn't. It does not require culpability. It doesn't require the state to have been found to intentionally have done something. Withholding the evidence is the problem, whether it's intentional or not, and whether they're showing culpability. It's been evidence that's withheld. That's where you're at. But the court, regardless of that, said at the hearing during the trial, the state was highly culpable for repeatedly failing to fulfill its discovery obligations during pretrial litigation. The court further found the suppression of the Teskey ammunition and related evidence constitutes willful and deliberate misconduct, and that Morrissey elicited false testimony from CST Popple in the presence of the jury. There's a name for that phrase, chat. Eliciting false testimony from CST Popple in the presence of the jury. There's a way you can phrase that's a lot quicker. Suborning perjury. Kari Morrissey, the judge, and she suborned perjury. That's what she did. That's what she did there. As the court correctly noted, refusal to comply with discovery orders may rise to the level of dismissal when the state's conduct is especially culpable, such as where is here, evidence is unilaterally withheld by the state in bad faith, or all access to the evidence is precluded by the state's intransigence. Gotta get those thesaurus words in there. They finally third the prejudice to Baldwin is clear. As the court directly notes, if Baldwin had access to the supplied ammunition before the third day of the trial, he would have altered his approach to preparation for trial and the trial itself. The state argues Baldwin could not have been prejudiced if he was aware of the ammunition and its characteristics prior to trial. Once again, guys, I said this is wrong. Kari Morrissey cannot sit there with a straight face and say if they're aware of it, then she can't Brady violation. No, they still can. As an initial matter, the state's argument ignore the fact that the state withheld additional related evidence beyond the ammunition itself, including the supplemental reports, the lapel video, and the fact that the ammunition had been logged under a different case name. Time of disclosure of that evidence, which the state doesn't argue Baldwin had any knowledge of, would have also altered his preparation and strategy for trial. And knowing they were out there, could it have? Sure. I don't know for sure where it would be, but this is just pointing out that we would have very likely done something different, but we don't have to. It's the idea that we could have done that. And they say to the extent the defense may elicit evidence about the Santa Fe County's investigation, the FBI testing Hague 3 reports this evidence is relevant. They say, thus the court properly found the disclosure of the suppressed evidence during the course of the trial has impeded the effective use of evidence in such a way that impacts the fundamental fairness of all proceedings. Now, at any rate, the state cites zero authority for the argument that the defendant cannot show prejudice from the state's unilateral withholding of evidence unless the defendants had no inkling of the evidence existence. And that's very important because, once again, Kari's saying because they knew about it, nope, they're troubles. It's all done. I'm the one who's right because they knew it existed. I mean, this is where it's like, no, Kari, because I mean, when you look at all this, this is not how that works. And now they point out the law holds otherwise. This is, like I said, they're just basically writing fuck yous in there. They say, for example, the New Mexico Supreme Court has found prejudice where the state failed to disclose the defendant's own arrest report, noting the defendant might have altered his strategy if he known the state's intent to use the report at trial. Well, that's a funny story. I'm not going to comment. I'm going to leave that one be. Oh, that is a funny story here. Oh. The defendant's arguments that this information would have affected his decisions regarding trial strategy are persuasive. The defendant's arguments that this information would have affected his decisions regarding trial strategy are persuasive. Prejudice occurs when the disclosure is so late that it undermines the defendant's preparation for trial. And this is a big problem here. Alec Baldwin did not get the chance to prepare. He didn't get the chance to prepare. And the same logic here applies. The state cannot seriously argue that repeated violations of the New Mexico rules of evidence do not cause prejudice when the whole point of the rules the whole point of these rules is to eliminate unwarranted prejudice. It's to eliminate the shopping. It's eliminating the surprises and the ambushes. It's just lay out your cards and let's play. Maddie B says, this who you are. An orgy of failed lawyers is not on my bingo cards for tonight. Well, I have a feeling your bingo card's probably going to get pretty thick tonight. Travion Watch says, it's true that in Brady v. Maryland, the appellant was living with 3 boys of his own. Fake heritage is so gross to me on many levels. Well, okay, I don't disagree, but I'm not sure what it has to do with this argument here. They point out Baldwin was entitled to pursue the truth at trial, especially after he requested to see all rounds and deconstructed rounds in the state's possession. And they say this plainly encompassed the evidence Teskey delivered to the state, and yet the state deliberately withheld the evidence Baldwin had requested. Remember, guys, these discovery requests are generally considered an ongoing matter. So as soon as I file it, there's a presumption that, especially if I'm asking for it's an ongoing thing. They have to keep providing evidence. They have to keep updating it. So, wait, which one did we? Oh, we got to the wrong one. Sorry, chat. We got to the wrong one here. And they say, simply put, Kari Morrissey's arguments amount to the assertion that she was entitled to violate the U.S. Constitution, and violate New Mexico statute, deliberately hide evidence, and lie to your honor and lie to the jury because Baldwin learned that someone may have delivered evidence to the state, evidence that Morrissey concealed during the evidence inspection, and represent didn't exist in her certifications. That's clearly not the law. This is clearly not the law. Fourth, the court correctly found that no lesser sanction could cure the fundamental unfairness. And that's true. I don't think it could have at that point. You're kind of stuck with what you got, in in the case of the judge. And look, you got one. You got an answer. Fire up the something. So fourth, the court correctly found that no lesser sanction could cure the fundamental unfairness. The state's misconduct and its reverberations in trial had infused. It infused it, chat. It's not even. It's just, permeating. It's infused. It's like part of. It's part of the trial. It's part of the trial. This is. Now, they point out in the case that the New Mexico Supreme Court cited Davidson, which was up here, they said repeated intentional violations of the district court's plain and ambiguous rules or plain unambiguous discovery orders. Plain and unambiguous discovery orders of the disclosure requirements in our rules of criminal procedure and the disclosure required by both the state and federal constitutions. And they say that our Supreme Court does not attempt to limit the use of sanctions, include the sanction of dismissal of prejudice when the state either breached some duty or intentionally deprived the defendant of evidence. Now it becomes, well, how big was the evidence? How critical was the evidence? Well, as stated, there are other people who are involved that are theories of liability. Yes, I was stroking out, yes. In short, the trial court possesses broad authority to decide what sanction to impose when discovery order is violated. And that's true. The court has wide authority to do whatever it wants in almost all situations. The state cannot seriously argue the court's ruling is clearly untenable or not justified for reason, other than saying it exceeds the bounds of all reason or is arbitrary, fanciful, or unreasonable. Alec Baldwin has not found a reported case involving a more egregious pattern of professional prosecutorial lies and abuse. Okay, well, now we're getting a little dramatic. Now we are getting a little dramatic. I mean, there there have been some out there. I'm pretty sure there have been some out there. I'm pretty sure we've read over some of them. I mean, is it up there? Oh yeah, that's up there. It's up there, and I don't disagree that it's important and it's like up there, but it's not like in the pantheon of cases you'll ever remember. And they point out, as the court noted, dismissal is necessary to ensure the integrity of the judicial system and the efficient administration of justice. And they're saying for the above reasons, the court should deny the state's amended motion, or only alternative, strike the amended motion as untimely and just award Baldwin's attorney's fees. It's just... they're saying for the above reasons, the court should deny the amended motion, or in the alternative, strike it as untimely and award attorney's fees, and that is literally it. So, now they're saying that, I love this footnote down here, chat. This result should come as no surprise to the state. Just 3 months before the court dismissed this case, First Judicial District Attorney's Office commented on the adoption of new rules that require prosecutors to make additional certifications regarding the existence and stewardship of discovery. See Example E. In its comment, the FJDA argued that such certifications are unnecessary because there is already an additional baked-in motivation for the state to exercise diligence. Well, and they do it without such stewardship and appropriate collecting of evidence, the state would be risking its case at trial or beforehand. Yeah. And that's it. But what does this mean for you guys? Well, this was very impressive. They basically come out and said, "Fuck you, Kari. We're not buying this." And I don't think the judge is going to buy all these extensions, and then you're like, "Oh, look, here's 2 pages total." Ah, it's like, well, why were the other ones? Well, you guys are talking about God's chickens. Yes. It's a big footnote. It's a very big footnote. It's a very revealing footnote. Oh, so yeah, that is Alec Baldwin's attorney coming back saying, "No, fuck this. This is a bullshit case." You guys are taking lactate and being lactose intolerant? Jeez. My gosh. You guys are something else. All right. Lucky and Lime says Alec Baldwin walks. Yes, he's walking. And it's just like he's gonna walk right on out, and you're not gonna stop him. Yep, he's walking away. The content lasagna, how you doing? Saying, Yana, the body cam video sent to you is a copy. Copied directly from the body cam itself. And the watermarks have watermarks, Yana. Therefore, it's not original. Must be thrown out. Grimsbar for $2 says, well played, title. Well played. Yes, he delivers a kill shot to the prosecution. And it's just the professional attorneys are just, sweeping up the streets. Cleaning it up. Clean up the courtrooms. Justice Smith says, I lost my life savings on Clang Coin. Where do I get my refund? Womp womp. J-Rock says, did she get leave first? Sean? No, it did not look like she got leave first. Eric K says, what? It is my birthday? Oh, yeah, no one cares, and that's why my day sucked. Well, Eric, hey, man, happy birthday, dude. I don't know which one it is, but here's to like 50 more at the very least. Just presuming you're, just presuming that you're a little older, but if you're not, then fine. 75 years of birthdays. I wish you for 75 years of more happier events. Zar, it's a new member. Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Dolly Talks been a member for 7 months. Says, Sean, what time are you covering Hannah? Well, guys, Hannah, and that's what we're gonna get to now. Hannah Reed is gonna be in trial tomorrow. There's gonna be a hearing. And hold on here. I was gonna bring up what time. Hold on here. Why is YouTube not working? Let me see here. New Mexico courts. There we go. Where? Okay, hold on here. Where is the? Hey Dolly, what? Where Oh, here we go. Here we go. Found it. Sorry, Chad. Took a second. So here is the issue. I have court at 11 a.m. tomorrow, but it is set for 10:30 Eastern time. So what I'm going to do, chat, is Hannah Gutierrez, Hannah Reed, is going to be arguing to get out and get a new trial and get released. As soon as I'm done with court, I'm going to come back and we're going to watch it. So it's probably going to be around noon. But thank you for reminding me of sharing that with everybody, Dolly. I appreciate it. Debbie J says, for $19.99. Thank you so much. Why do you think Kari continues to perpetuate this nonsense? Because I think she thinks she doesn't want to lose. I mean, she got embarrassed in front of the world. She got embarrassed. Oh, Dolly's saying you're saying, oh, it's 12 Eastern. Oh, you're saying it's 10 a.m. her time, 10:30 her time? Okay, so that's 12:30 my time. Well, I can definitely do it. We'll be definitely doing it at 12:30 then. Snake Pliska says free Hannah, yes. But why is Kari, why won't she give it up? I mean, she got embarrassed. I mean, maybe deep down she truly thinks Alec Baldwin did this and letting him get away with it. You know, like I can't let him get away. Very possible. Do I think it more like the more likely answer is this is her white whale. This is Moby Dick. And she's Captain Ahab, and at hell's heart I stab at thee. You know, and from hell's heart I spit at thee. I mean, she wants him. I think that's actually very clear at this point. That's definitely probably the primary motivator for Kari is just wanting to punish him and get him. I would argue over everything else. Ariel says that's in 12 days. Oh, it's October 8th. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes. Not tomorrow. But I think she's got something tomorrow too. If I remember right. Wait, did I look at I looked at the wrong one, chat. Sorry. Yeah. The October 8th is one of them. Sorry. We were looking at the wrong one, chat. We were looking at the wrong one here. Go to bed, Lamau. And they're like right next to each other. That one's not fair. Goddamn New Mexico courts. Look at this. You know, they've got like right here, Hannah Reed and Hannah Reed. It's like boom, boom. So yes, we're going to be looking at this at noon. So it'll work out right away. Siobhan saying bye, happy fall. Well, have a good day. But yeah, I just think she can't. I just don't think she wants to let it go. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. Like she's got some mental health issue with it. She's got an obsession now. But I don't really know. I don't really know. Ariel saying it's at 12. Yes, thank you. Patty Cake says Kari is so deep in her feels that she doesn't seem to understand how badly she's being owned right now. I don't know if it's that. I think it could be that, but I also think there's a little bit of doubling down for her. We just have to do more. We got 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 to do more, and eventually we'll get them. Yeah. It's rough because she just won't give it up. You know, why is there something reflecting? Hmm. A big piece of hair. Dolly saying, I'm glad I have someone to watch it with live. Yeah. Tech Guy says free Hannah with the free Hannah with the purchase of a Hannah equal or greater value. Yes, Kari went full remote, and I think so, but I think she's got this mental obsession of just wanting to make it stick. I mean, I truly think that's where she is right now at this point. Deanna's saying, is Kari still working for the prosecutor's office? Wasn't she put on a special prosecutor? Won't they have sent her back to being a defense attorney? Is she still getting PD to file? Well, I think she's still a special prosecutor because she hasn't like terminated or resigned yet. So she can still keep filing things. It's just finally when she gets told to stop. That's what's happening here. Ariel say, do you think Kari's mad because she hasn't gotten a case dismissed in the middle of trial? That's actually good. Yeah, I think she's just mad it was her case that got dismissed like this. She's like, I'm better than those prosecutors. It's like, no. Yeah, tomorrow's the hearings at 12 Eastern. Dagenworth says, nope. You said it's tomorrow. You have to call the court and make it happen. You promised. Okay. Oh. Shredder saying potentially criminal philosophy. I only know that line because of Khan's last words in The Wrath of Khan. I understand, but that comes from Herman Melville and Moby Dick. Hold on, chat. She should change brands of box wine. She should, but I don't think she will. Neo Dark Matter says, wow, no other cases were televising in New Mexico. Not at least in the New Mexico court system. That's where, like, there might be, like, other law and crime stuff, or there might be other things going on. It's just the New Mexico court system is like, hey, we want to focus on this one. Everybody wants it, so we're going to cover it. David says, I remember need to be more like Sean. When I have to say I have to go back through chat. Well, and Bulb says, I know a lot of women who won't give it up. Well, yeah. And then David was saying, what is she trying to do with this motion? What is her end goal? She wants to go back in the trial. She wants to prosecute Alec Baldwin. She wants to find him guilty. And like I said, I don't know why, but she wants to get back into trial. She wants the judge to go, huh, okay, you're right. I was wrong. I'm going to overturn the dismissal with prejudice. Because remember, guys, she can do that. It's not an acquittal. It's a dismissal with prejudice. So she can always go back. She can, as Noel likes to talk about Russell Greer, a motion to undo the thing you did. She can undo the thing she did and put it back in trial. She can do it. Is it going to work? No, that would just be a complete disaster. No, I'd argue the judge is like, no, I've already made my motion. It should stand. Benjamin Lewis saying she doesn't really like Alec and she can't let it go. I mean, it's possible, but she's got some issues there. She's got some issues. Cheaters never prosper and Kari blew it. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. When you think you're being the good guy and you have to break all the rules to be the good guy, you're not being the good guy. Am I going to cover Karen Reed's appellate brief? Yes, that is something that just got filed. Karen Reed is going to the Massachusetts Supreme Court. She's going all the way, chat. Robin Lane says Kari ain't right. Yeah, I don't know what her deal is. I don't know what her deal is. Jaden Williams says Julie Christie got 84 months. Wow. It's a lot of months. David says this is basically a motion to reopen the trial. Stupid fucking woman. Yes. 100%. She has the right to file the motion, but should she be filing it? No. Remember, just like Dr. Malcolm says, You're so worried about whether or not you could feasibly do it. You didn't worry about ethically of should you do it. Reform Comics saying, I find there's a never undoing any of my fuck ups. Yeah, and I think Carrie's not understanding that. Benjamin Lewis is gifted one membership. Thank you. PH Joyce saying, you don't know why? Because it's pointless, I guess. I mean, like, this is where we're kind of stuck on this issue. What is her motivating factor? What drives her at this point? Is she being driven by her hatred of Alec Baldwin? Very real possibility. Is she being driven by her sense of justice and that he's the bad man? Yeah, that's possible, but I think we're probably dealing with like the first thing, more likely that she just fucking hates Alec Baldwin. Like, I think that's really where you're at. Like that's the thing that makes the most sense. Sarah Boone's trial conference is tomorrow. Yes, it is. And I don't know what time that's set for. Because if it's set for a time where we can watch it, we might watch that because I will be home tomorrow afternoon. I didn't want to bring it up until I knew what time. Let's see here. That's interesting because Sarah had a it looked like Sarah had something recently too. Okay, well, hold on here. Wait, this thing is saying okay, that's a different judge, but they say it's Sarah Boone. That's weird. That's weird now. It's rescheduled to Friday now. Okay. Well, I'm in trial on Friday, so we're not going to be able to do that one. That one's going to be fun, chat, because I have a trial and get to argue First Amendment stuff. Luke says, "Do we read the Erlinda Johnson affidavit?" Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yeah, courts canceled due to the storm. I forgot there's a big hurricane coming their way. But yes, it is very revealing where she's like, Kari Morrissey told me not to do things. Now, here's a big issue for Erlinda Johnson. And this is something I've said before, guys. Under the rules of professional conduct, and we'll bring him up for New Mexico. New Mexico rules of ethics. Let's see here. All right. Duty to hold on here. All right. Maintain the integrity of the profession. All right. So here's the important part of the Article 8 of the New Mexico Rules of Ethics. Reporting professional misconduct. No, I don't want a PDF in this case. We need... Oh, it's not. I got rid of the share. Wait, where did I just... Well, that's why. There. Now, here we go. Canceling due to hurricane. Wussies, yes. Pirate streamer case on Friday. No, we are not doing that. So, anyways. This is the rules of professional conduct. And it's the reporting professional misconduct that you have to do. And this is where Erlinda Johnson could possibly have an issue. A lawyer who knows that another lawyer has committed a violation of the rules of professional conduct that raises a substantial question of that lawyer's honesty, trustworthiness, or fitness as a lawyer shall inform the New Mexico Disciplinary Board. Well, I mean, you have your co-counsel, your boss, unofficially, is telling you, don't share evidence, violate discovery rules. That's not good. That is not good. Luke says, I've got many emotion for you to read for me, fat man. Oh. Yeah, that is, she might have a duty and obligation to report this already, and she didn't. Like, she's kind of walking on I'd argue she's walking on the edge there. Because under the rules of misconduct, or the rules of professional ethics, if you don't report misconduct and you don't report it, and then that person gets in trouble anyway, when they do their investigation and it turns out you knew about it, so they interview you and you're like, oh yeah, I knew he did that. You're in trouble too, because you have a duty to note. You have a duty. It's one of the few times where, like, if you witness a crime, you have to report it. If you see an attorney doing something really bad, you have to report it. Well, Erlinda Johnson seeing Kari Morrissey doing something that quotes her trustworthiness in the grave question. There's a big question about, it's there is so much here that she's not doing. 10 October is saying, is Barnes helping you with my First Amendment trial arguments? No. So Young says jails and prisons are usually brick, aren't they? Like in the movie, so they'll probably be okay. Luke says, I don't know if saying commit a violation is itself a violation. Yeah, but remember, she asked me to hide evidence and not share it. And like that's an issue there. So this is, yeah, I think she's got problems. I think Erlinda Johnson could have problems here too. Do I think Kari's ultimately going to get bar sanctions? No, nobody ever sanctions anybody. It's not going to happen to her. So SB Adams, you're saying Eric Adams, like the mayor of New York City? Eric Adams? Caleb says, will you do an interview with the Ashley Benefield judge interviewing the jurors? Yeah, we're going to do that because that's an interesting development. Also, I sent you this Spar DA in Discord. Yes, I did see all that. We'll be working our way through some of that stuff. Luke says the DA just got disbarred for fucking up the murder case. Got the lawsuit against her dismissed. Yeah, that's a thing. It's very going too far is where people mess up a lot in dealing with. That's a big issue here. Cam asks, why the judge interviewing the jurors? Because there's some issue of juror misconduct, and one of the jurors may have done things wrong during the trial that poisoned the jury pool. So that is where we are with that. All right, guys, it is 9 o'clock. What we will do a little bit later, probably about 10, we will do members only tonight because it is Wednesday, and I owe you guys a members only. We got some fun stuff we can talk about and hang out about. It should be a fun time. And Nico says, Clyde. Well, Clyde's not coming out, man. I don't know what Clyde's doing. Clyde is hiding. He's running around. Do you eat one Dorito? Do I look like I just eat one Dorito? I am like the poster child for bet you can't eat just one. Why am I focus on me, bro? Focus on me, man. Come here, focus. There you go. Focus. I sent you one with a fun Miranda hypo. You sent me a video, Luke? Hold on here. Let me see here. Where did you send Yeah, I don't see you sending any video, but yeah, we can do the Miranda. Like, you got something Miranda-wise, that'll be fun to do. Cal says no one can only eat one Dorito. Yes. Guys, there's something else here. Yes, be right back getting one Dorito. So, Doritos are like cocaine, very addicting. No comment. All right, chat. Yeah, I thought, but I did have it. Well, send it to me. We'll do it tonight. Anyways, guys, can you do one line of Coke? I mean, I probably could, but I don't know what's gonna, get me there. The amateur Arcana classes for $2. I still can't gift memberships. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is, man. I don't know. I'm sorry. I wish you could. PH Joyce says a man cannot live on Doritos alone. How dare you make that claim? How dare you? All right, guys. Well, we are going to land the plane right now. Like I said, we'll start at about 10, doing members only. Should be a lot of fun. We'll be hanging out for a little while. Let's see if anybody shows up tonight a little bit later. And baby, be a simple sandwich man. Ba-da-dun-dun-dun-dun. Spread that mayo just like they understand. Guys, it's going to be here on YouTube. It'll be here on YouTube. Agbiochemist Chemist says the Royals win. No one cares about the Royals. Okay. So we are going to wrap up here. And, oh, by the way, if you notice, I've been able to keep the screen a little darker. After so long, they finally made dark mode for StreamYard. Makes it really dark now. Please do Sting. Wait. Are you saying please do... please don't sing. I thought you said please do Sting. I'm like, you really want to sing Sting? We could do that. Not really a big Sting guy. I'm more of like, Huey Lewis in the News. Or, just other stuff out there. All right, guys. So I will see you a little bit later. And remember, until next time, Alec Baldwin did it, but he's not guilty. And just because he did it doesn't mean he's guilty. And Kari has to suffer. Kari Morrissey will continue to suffer. Good night, chat. Take care. I'll see you guys in about an hour for the members only.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. do, just don't talk to cops. Even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy Rick Hayden yelled at? Why, yes it was, he even knows he's fat. For all this fun and more, there's one place to go. Here on Sean Martin's Potentially